Joining us now, the former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. And I know you were visiting Kramatorsk, Bakhmut, and Sloviansk this week, the front lines. We want to hear about your experiences there. But first, can you please respond to these reports that Russia is planning on annexation of certain regions of your country?
First of all, I just want to thank you very much for the invitation and for keeping Ukraine very high in your agenda. Second, it is extremely important that the understanding that Putin do not stop in Ukraine. Putin do not stop in Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, and Lugansk. Definitely Putin go further. Because this is the war not against Ukraine. This is the war against the whole Western world. Against freedom, against democracy. And how we can stop Putin? Three things. Weapons, weapons, and weapons. And I really very much counted on the meeting in Ramstein with the anti-Putin coalition when we need more weapons, when I see during my visit the front line, the combat operation, and I see how professionally, how efficient, with high efficiency, Ukrainian soldiers are using their Western howitzer, Western multi-rocket launch system, destroying the Russians' arsenal, stopping the Russian offensive operation, and definitely we need more. But I want to make a special thanks to the United States for the Himars, because already 12 Himars we have completely changed the way of Russian behavior. And if we keep fingers crossed, we'll see more. Definitely this is what Ukrainian soldiers waiting, and this is definitely which Russia afraid. And this is just make a difference, and I'm really proud what I see on the Bakhmut, in Slaviansk, in Kramatorsk, in Chasiv Yar. Fortunately, I see a lot of victims of the civilian Ukrainians, which was killed during the last 48 hours. And this is just a demonstration how barbarian is Russian army, how barbarian is Putin, and what a genocide he organized against us, Ukrainian. But at the same time, we are very decisive. Ukrainian soldiers is very motivated, and we definitely never accept. And what asking me Ukrainian soldiers? Very simple things. Please, thank United States for their Himars and ask more.
Yeah, Mr. President, you talked about how the Ukrainians are destroying Russia's arsenal. We spoke earlier this morning to Radek Sikorsky, who was, when I asked him how he thought the war was going on the ground, he actually mocked the Russians and said how sad it was that Putin had to go to Iran, hat in hand, begging for more drones because the Russians, who were supposed to be this great and mighty army, didn't have enough weapons of their own to carry out their fight against the Ukrainians. And Sikorsky said that the Russians had lost on so many fronts already, the Battle of Kyiv and so many other battles. I'm curious, what are your feelings about how things are going on the ground right now strategically? Are the Russians at the brink of exhaustion, or is this going to be a long, hard slog?
First of all, I'm very happy to hear the words of my friend and friend of Ukraine, Radek Sikorsky. And I think that the visit of Putin to Iran demonstrates two things. Things number one, the isolation of Putin by anti-Putin coalition in the world is working. And Putin stay with very limited number of friends, including Iran, North Korea, Belarus, and Ukraine. With that situation, we need to have more sanction, and sanction would be more severe, just to push Putin to stop and to free Ukrainian land. Point number two, does the Russian soldiers exhausted? No. But at the same time, hundreds of Russian soldiers refusing to go to Ukraine, even prefer to go to the prison than to Ukraine. And this is another sign of the efficiency of the Ukrainian army together with the Western weapons. And point number three, what I again see with my own hands on the east of my country. I was there with another friend of Ukraine, Pavel Koval, who is one of the members of the Polish Sejm, one of the leaders. And with that situation, I want to use this opportunity to invite to the east of Ukraine American congressmen, American leaders, and I am even ready to be together with them, shoulder to shoulder, deliver them to the front line. With their own eyes, you will see what is there, what price Ukraine paid for this disastrous aggression, and how decisive we need to be in the introducing new sanctions, including the sanction, for example, which pushing Putin not only to stop the war, but to the deblock of the Ukrainian Black Sea port, and we need to arrest the Russian commercial vessel who provided the Russian export to the world until Putin do not stop the blockade of the Ukrainian Black Sea port, do not make a danger of the hunger for the big millions, hundreds of millions of on the globe, which is the really purpose of Putin. So once again, is more visit to Ukraine. Let's go together to the front line. Let's inform the world how disastrous is this war.